Good afternoon, guys. I will wait a few seconds for people to jump on. I have this mic on. If you can't hear me, let me know. Hopefully you can hear me. Hi, Tristan. Can you hear me? You should type if you can hear me, because I'm not sure if you can. Okay, cool. Thanks. All right, guys. Only 5 more days until my next song comes out. Hi, Victoria. It comes out September 7th at 12 p.m. and I am so excited. I cannot wait. I know it's Labor Day, so I feel like a lot of people aren't going to jump on here, but that's okay. It's so nice out here today, guys. I am loving this. Okay. So again, September 7th at 12 p.m. my next song, Cut These Ties, will be out. I can't wait. This is a very personal song. I wrote it about a toxic relationship that I was in that left me very broken and just not knowing anything about myself after I got out of it. And if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, 1, I'm sorry. And 2, then you can understand that after one of those, you really have to do some soul searching, and it's kind of what I've been doing for the last couple years, just trying to find myself again and stuff. I have been very open about my mental health struggles and stuff. I told you I have a panic disorder, and I had depression for about a year, and I have almost been a year free of depression. But one thing that I have not been open about, because it's scary and I feel like people will judge more than anything, is I was also diagnosed with PTSD because of this relationship that I was in. That's how bad it had gotten, and I'm still working on it. But that is the main thing that, I go to therapy for, and that I am working on, is just really trying to get past this part of my life. I don't want to tell this story for any type of sympathy or anything. I've lived it, I went through it, and I'm getting better. every day. And so I'm not telling the story for any type of sympathy. For the longest time, I didn't know that I was in one. I know that might sound kind of weird, but I didn't realize that this was a very bad situation that I was in, because, you know, there was so many good moments, but then there were so many bad on top of it. Hi, Kyra. And I lost my train of thought. But yeah, so I didn't really know that I was in this relationship that was bad. I don't know if I was more just trying to tell myself that I wasn't, and I was in denial about it, or what. But, you know, looking back now, the signs are also clear, and I feel dumb now for, you know, letting it go on for as long as it did. But these things I'm gonna point out are just mainly because you might not know, like I didn't know that I was in this relationship. And so I just kind of want to point out some key things that, you know, toxic people will do, narcissistic people will do. And just so, you know, because I lived through it, now I feel like I can sit here and sort of educate people on it. So you know, I wrote to cut these ties based off of a person and how they left me feeling just completely broken and lost. And I wrote this song while in a depressive episode last year. And I think this was one of the first songs I wrote. I wrote a song called Every Day, and then I think this was the second or third song that I had written. So to come this far with it is really kind of surreal. And I'm super proud that this gets to be put out. But I wrote this while in a depressive episode, and it was after, you know, I had been distancing myself from this person and really trying to get them out of my life. And they had texted me one too many times, just, you know, sitting there telling me how awful of a person I was, and how just, that's really what they mainly like to do, was sit there and tell me how awful I was. And which I didn't understand, because I tried so hard for them, and they just continued to beat me down. And, you know, when I was sitting there trying to get them out of my life, they just kept pushing. And they had texted me one more time before, like, my breaking point. And that's where this song came from. It's just like, you leave me absolutely broken, and I do not know why. And I don't know why you keep doing this to me. And so that's how the song was created. My first song, Be a Badass Warrior, was not set up as a traditional song. So if you listen to that, and then when you listen to this song, it's going to sound very different. And I don't have a specific genre that I like to sing, or, you know, I just write and I do what feels right. So I don't have a specific genre that this fits into, but the two are very different sounds. They're both ballads, but they're different. And this song is almost, I wrote it more like a poem, almost. It's very poetic. I tried to just get words that rhymed and showed every single emotion and put in imagery so that you could paint your own picture of what this song is about, and you could relate it to your own story, even though this is completely based off of my story. And Be About Us Warrior was so important for me to put out because I wanted it to go out to other people. And this song almost feels selfish in a way because I am putting it out for you guys as well, but it is mainly for me. Like, this is, after I wrote this song, I felt so much healing from this relationship, and it was like a way for me to kind of let it go. So, yeah, some of the things that this person did, other than sit there and tell me how awful I was and how horrible of a person I was, when all I ever tried to do was please them. And I tried very hard for this person. And I'm not going to sit here and say that I was perfect, because I wasn't. I did lie. I did go behind their back. But I didn't do it in like a spiteful way. I just did it in a way where I was able to do the things that I wanted to do for once, because I wasn't allowed to do what I wanted to do. And which isn't okay. Like, I don't want to sit here and say that I had a valid reason for lying, but that's the truth. And you know, I wasn't allowed to have my own opinions with this person. If I brought something up that I thought, they told me that I was stupid, that I was wrong, and that I didn't know anything. And then they would tell me why their opinion was the only right way. And so that led to me just never speaking up on what I felt. And you know, I never told anybody about this. There's probably a handful of people who know everything about this person, because I was too scared to speak up and to confide in people. I didn't think people would understand or believe me that I was going through this. So the entire time of this relationship, nobody knew, and I didn't tell anybody. And it wasn't really until like after the fact where Tristan knows about it, maybe a couple family members and a couple friends know like absolutely everything. But other than that, I have not told anybody what I went through with this person, which was really hard. You know, I bottled everything up, which eventually led to me exploding and having like mental breakdowns, because you keep things in for so long and you don't discuss it, and you just keep it in the back of your mind so deep. You know, eventually it's gonna come back up, and that's exactly what happened. So yeah, I wasn't allowed to have my own opinions. I this person was great at making me feel very guilty for anything. You know, they were very giving. They gave great gifts. They loved me. And, but they knew how to take that and use it against me and tell me that I didn't deserve it and that I was ungrateful for everything. And mostly for no reason. Like, there did come a point in this relationship where I was just like, I'm done. Like, I don't care what happens anymore. I don't care. Which just made things worse. And, but they would like twist things to other people, but like twist things with me too. So nobody ever had the right story. And, oh, this is hard to talk about, but yeah, they're just really good at twisting the truth and making it seem like I was always doing something wrong and making me feel guilty for everything that they did for me, which was not fair. And you know, so which leads to now, you know, I don't really like getting gifts. It's kind of awkward. I constantly feel like if I get something from somebody, they're just going to sit there and throw it back in my face, you know, how much money they spent on me and all this. They like to hype me up in front of a bunch of people, and then behind closed doors, they said the opposite. Willow! My dog wants to say. I just tripped. This mic has a really long cord and I just tripped over it. Okay. Ah, crap. Malfunction, guys. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, they like to, you know, out in public, this person was so great. And they hyped me up and they said how wonderful I was and that I was the best person and I had such a caring heart and all this and that, and I was doing great with this and that and whatever I was doing that they, you know, felt proud of me for. But then behind closed doors, they would say, you know, I made all of that up. I didn't tell them the truth. And it left me feeling like, well, what do you mean? Who are you actually lying to? Because I feel like I'm doing a good job. I feel like everything that you said to those people were true. And now you're sitting here telling me that I'm an awful person and that I'm not doing good and that I actually really suck at this and that. So it created a lot of confusion with myself and who I really was. And, you know, I'm like, am I doing good or am I not doing good? Do you love me or do you not love me? Do you think I'm great or do you not think I'm great? I did not know. And I never knew the type of person that I was going to get day to day. One day they could be my best friend. They could be, hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's go here, let's watch a movie, let's, have great memories and great times. And then they just turned around and they snapped and they told me how awful I was and how they didn't want to be with me, how I shouldn't be in their life or in people connected to us as lives, and that I didn't deserve to be a part of them. And that was just a constant thing. And I guess I didn't know what love was prior to this person. I loved this person. I still love this person. I still very much care about this person. But it was so confusing. I never knew what I was going to get. And even in seconds, they would... What's up? Even in seconds, they would just flip. Maybe we were making dinner or something and we were laughing, and then another second they're screaming at me. It was random as heck. I never knew what I was going to get. And that's like the biggest red flag of a toxic relationship, is the whole back and forth. You never know what type of person you're gonna get. And I was constantly just walking on eggshells with this person. Constantly just trying to find the right things to do and the right words to say to keep them happy, so they didn't just flip out on me. And, I would try so hard, and then they would still get mad at me and then still sit there and tell me how awful I was. They trying to... There's like people mowing out here, and it's very loud and distracting. But another thing that this person would do is they would, they would scream at me. They would, they had to know all my passwords to everything. They would just randomly take my phone and check it whenever they felt like it. Which, whatever. I didn't really have much to hide. But they were just constantly controlling my life. They knew where I was every second of every day. And, later I realized that they had a GPS on my phone. That's a huge flag that I didn't, for some reason, know was a problem. They put it into my head that it was for safety reasons, and that they just wanted to know that I was safe at all times, and if they needed to locate me, then they knew where I was. So I stupidly believed that, but really what they wanted to do was just know where I was at all times so they could keep tabs on me. And there was one real specific thing that they really loved to do, just to be cruel and hurtful. I lost my mom when I was in 3rd grade, and she was an addict, and I lost my mom, and I grew up just not even thinking about that. I didn't party at all. I didn't have my first drink until I was 18. I haven't done drugs or anything, and I tried so hard to stay away from that type of life because I never wanted to end up like my birth mom. And this person, just to be cruel, just to be so mean, they would scream at me and yell at me, tell me how horrible I am, but then sometimes they would go over the top and tell me that I wasn't going to amount to anything, and that I was going to end up dead at 38, just like my mom. For no reason. Just to be so cruel. And, the first time that happened, it completely shattered me. Because I was like, what are you saying in me that makes you think that? I've gone my entire life trying not to do that, trying not to be that type of person. So where are you getting this from? And so yeah, I was like completely broken the first time that they told me this. And then it just became a thing that they would just throw at me. And eventually it just became something I was like, all right, really? Like, you can't hurt me with this anymore. And then when they knew that that didn't work anymore, they dug deeper and they went crueler, and they found the meanest things to say just to completely tear me down. And this person was never physically abusive with me, but they would back me up into corners, and they would back me up into corners screaming at me, and they wouldn't hit me, but they would pretend to hit me. And when I flinched, they would say, yeah, you're not so tough now, are you? When I wasn't even trying to be. Like, I let them back me into a corner. I let them do whatever they wanted. If they tried to hit me, I wouldn't have done anything. But it was all mind games. They needed to know that they were the dominant one. They needed to know that I was terrified, that I was scared. And they loved it. And to this day, I don't know why. I don't understand. But unfortunately, substance abuse was a factor in this. So, they would do all these things, and then the next day they wouldn't remember. So I let it go too. Because I thought that if I just forgot about it, then it would just go away. It didn't go away, and it never got better. It only got worse. There was a time this person had been drinking, and I was at their house, and they were drunk, and I don't know what I did to set them off, but there was like an island in the kitchen, and they started walking towards me, and I was like backing up, and then they started chasing me around the island, and then I ran to the living room, Well, they ended up falling, and then they weren't moving. And so I went to go ask them if they were okay. Because, you know, they're drunk, they just fell. I don't know, are you okay? Even though you're chasing me, I'm still asking you if you're okay. And I didn't get any response. They weren't moving. And I got closer and I'm like, are you okay? And then they just reached out their hand and tried to grab my ankle. And then I ran back. They got up, called me a fucking bitch, and started chasing me around the living room. And I eventually had to go lock myself in the bathroom. And they pounded on the door and they yelled at me to let them in, and I wasn't going to do that. I didn't have my phone on me at the time. Even if I did, I probably still wouldn't have done anything because I was just so terrified. But this whole drinking and not remembering thing was such a problem, and I knew that once they passed out, they wouldn't remember it in the morning. And eventually they gave up and they passed out. And sure enough, the next morning, they didn't remember. And instead of confronting them or leaving or whatever, I just pretended that it never happened too. And that is probably now the hardest thing that I have to live with, is knowing that they chased me around a house where I had to lock myself into a freaking bathroom, scared to death. And I just buried it away because I did not want to think about it. And I continued to have this person be a part of my life. And that is probably my biggest regret. And you're probably wondering, well, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you just say, I'm done, I'm out of here? I was scared. I didn't know. I hadn't loved anybody before this person. Like, this person was essentially the first person that I ever loved. And so in my mind, that this is what it was. Like, love is giving your entire life to somebody. Love is letting them control every aspect of your life. Love is letting them chase you around a house drunk until you have to lock yourself into a bathroom. Like, I just thought like this was what was supposed to happen, because I didn't know anything prior to it. And, you know, this person still told me like how much they loved me, how much they cared about me, and gave me things to like keep me reeled in. They never apologized for anything, but they just constantly gave me things. And now I know that it was just to keep me to stay, to keep me quiet. And you know, I didn't leave because, first and foremost, when things got really bad, Willow, when things got really bad and I was like, you know, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm done. Like, you don't get to sit here and hurt me anymore. Or if like I talked back or I fought back anyway, they threatened me with, if I left or if they weren't a part of my life anymore, then all of these people that were connected to us like friends and stuff, they would no longer be a part of my life either. And that scared the heck out of me. Like, I absolutely hate losing people. And they knew that. And they used it against me. And so these people that were connected to us that, I cared about, I loved, who I knew loved and cared about me too. It was put in my head that if I left this person, none of those people would be a part of my life, and that they would hate me, and I wouldn't ever see them, and they wouldn't want to see me because I'm such a terrible person. I know that's not true now, and now this person is not a part of my life, and some people did walk away with them, but I still have way more people who stayed and are still a part of my life than the people who walked. And that's the biggest lesson that I learned out of all of this, is that the people who are supposed to be a part of your life will be a part of your life, no matter what. No matter how much bad somebody says about you, they know the truth. And, that's mainly like the message that I want to get across is toxic people, narcissistic people are going to sit there and feed you all these lies, feed everybody else around you lies. So like the stories never match up, but neither party knows about it. They just know their own side of the story. And then use those little things against each party. And it's like a fun, twisted game for them. But if people decide to believe that person, let them believe them. They do not have to be a part of your life. And I'm so happy that I learned that, and I hope that if you've gone through a toxic relationship, that you now know that certain people do not need to be a part of your life, and that's okay. No matter how much they told you that you would be nothing without them, or these other people wouldn't be a part of your life if you weren't in their life. Who's meant to be in your life is going to be in your life. And I unfortunately had to learn that a very hard way. And if you had to learn it the same way, I'm sorry. But you're freaking strong. I hope you know that. I don't feel strong myself, and it's so easy to sit here and say that you're strong even though I don't feel strong myself. But it's true. And toxic relationships are such a common thing that shouldn't happen. Like, I don't get how people can sit there and have fun with messing with somebody's mind and making them feel completely worthless, which was another thing. They constantly would comment about my weight. And if you don't know me, like, outside of social media or anything, I'm a very tiny person. I'm 4'9", and while I was around this person, I was probably like 105. healthy, like very fit and stuff. And they watched what I ate. They told me not to eat this, not to eat that. If I looked like I was gaining weight, they were sure to tell me, even though I'm tiny. And so I would just be fixated on the fact that, oh my God, I'm gaining weight. Oh my God, like I look fat. I look like this. And they just built it into my head that I felt gross. I felt disgusting about myself. And that's another thing, like, toxic people will do. They will do anything to break you down, even if it's not the truth. And so I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd be like, you know, they're right. Yeah, no, like, they're right. I could go run some more. Maybe I should start working out more. And it's just insane looking back on it now, because I'm tiny, and I fed into it all. And you know, it got to a point where I would just like look at myself in the mirror, and I would be like, why? What do they see? Like, I have other friends and I have family who tell me I'm great and stuff, and I'm so sweet and I'm nice, or I'm a good person, or whatever. Are they lying to me? Because this person knows everything about me. So this person must be right and everybody else is wrong. And so I would just like look in the mirror and feel completely worthless. And I would be like, if I'm so awful, then if I'm so awful, why am I even alive? That's pretty much like what it got to. Oh, hi, Mary. And yeah, so toxic people, they make you feel completely worthless and like you don't have any place in the world. And you know, I have people on here right now who are going to sit here and think that they know everything, which is fine. That's completely fine if you want to jump onto my live that I'm doing. You don't know what I'm talking about, but that's fine. If you want to sit here and get on my live and go after me, whatever. There's just, yeah, I'm opening up about this, not saying anything more about this relationship. I have not specified who this is about. So if you want to just make opinions and stuff, go ahead. But if you can just get off my feed and stop making assumptions, that would be great too. Sorry to everybody else. Thanks, Maddie. So, you know, yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say. Again, I am not coming on here to say that I was completely perfect in this relationship, because I was not. And I am not sitting here saying that lying about things was okay. It wasn't. But what I was put through was not okay. To feel like an absolutely unworthy person, that I shouldn't even be alive anymore, that's not okay. So, this was not to be all about me, you know. Yes, this song is healing for me, and I am still so excited to put it out. But I just want to put this information out there for people who may not know exactly what goes into a toxic relationship or what narcissistic people are like, because I did not know for a long time, and my eyes were opened, and I do know now that I do not need that type of person in my life, and I only want the same for you. I do not want anybody to have to go through something that I went through, something completely worse, because it's not fair. People feeding lies into your mind, it's not fair. And you deserve so much better. And I hope that if you were in a toxic relationship or you are in one now, that you now have the information, the resources to know, and you can help yourself by getting out and know that, yeah, it's scary and it sucks, and you are going to feel completely lost and like you know nothing about yourself for probably about a year. That I would say that's what I've dealt with. But it is so worth it. I have found so much peace, and I know that the people who are supposed to be a part of my life are a part of my life. And I am surrounded by so many amazing people. And that, you know, you guys have been so supportive of me and my music journey, and, you know, me opening up with my mental health issues. And I can't express how much that means to me. It's a long road, and it's a tough road to get out of a very toxic place, but it is worth it. And I hope that you can just walk away knowing that if you put in the work to really find yourself again, that it's going to be so worth it. And yeah, so summary of this all, my song comes out September 7th at 12 p.m. and I'm so excited. It's about being in a toxic relationship, you know, or whatever. Like, if you listen to the song and you hear something completely different, then that's your own story and that's how you feel. And that's all I want, is for you to get your own thing out of it. And I hope that it helps you, because these are words that I needed to write and I needed to put out. And hopefully they're words that resonate with you and portray something with you that can help you, because that's my only hope with the music that I put out. I only want to help you guys. I just want to write the words that make you guys know that you're worth it, that make you keep going and keep fighting for this life and stuff, because it's so great, and your life is so much more than some people, and you can live such a full life with the right people. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Thank you for hopping on here and listening to me babble. I hope that, if any of you guys have gone through anything similar, or you may feel like you are and you just don't know how to express it, because I didn't have anybody to go to. I didn't have anybody to say, hey, this is happening to me. I could have, but I was too scared. My inbox is always open, and I would love to hear your guys' stories, and anything is safe with me. Like, I won't go telling anybody about anything. So if you just need somebody to hear you out, and everyone, or hear you out, I started reading a comment. But yeah, just let me know. I just want to help you guys and stuff. So thank you so much. Don't forget, September 7th at 12 p.m. I will put out notifications and stuff when it's live and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much, and I can't wait for you to hear it. Have a good day.